Ollie Moore, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for having me.
Mate, what?
It's a pleasure.
What a beautiful morning, man.
Mate.
Jeez, we're doing it tough here.
It's hard. It's a Saturday morning as
I know,
well.
man.
But it's like normal life for us, right? We've got up early morning, 5:30 run, 8K, 8.5K.
Yeah, bro.
Into sauna, ice, coffee. How good?
Mate, I was literally
It's a simple thing, right?
Mate, even like when we were running this morning, I was just like, we were even talking about it. It's like, how wild that this is our life.
Yeah.
This is what we get to do at the moment. Like we get to wake up, we get to have a beautiful run along the beach,
Yeah.
and then roll into like an ice and a sauna, like in the place that you're staying. You're in a beautiful place here in Burleigh Heads.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, is it wild to think that like from living in the UK now that this is actually your life at the minute?
Yeah, like this is my normal. And I always thought, being back in the UK, how I knew there was always like a different life for me, but I just didn't know what it would look like.
Yeah.
And I was listening, actually Benji put it on his story. It was a quote from, I can't remember who it was now, saying that like how crazy the journey is, and like the story you're living now is someone's dream, and the house you're in now is probably the house you've dreamt of, like been dreaming of. And anyway, I can't quite remember what it said, but anyway, this quote that I saw was like, just made me realize that the moment I'm in now, the place I'm in, the life I'm living is like the 2-3-year-old Ollie's dream.
Yeah.
And now I'm like shooting for more, and I'm like, you're always going to want to climb a new mountain, right? And I'm constantly doing that, but you got to realize that the position you're in now, someone else like from 2 years behind you they want what you have.
Yeah.
It's just like reminding yourself to be like grounded and grateful for the space you're in, but also, yeah, like this is my life now. This is normal. Like speaking to yourself, like your bro, on a podcast on a Saturday morning. Like usually you're playing footy, getting ready to play footy, but this is our normal now, and it's awesome.
I think the gratitude bit is like, it's so beautiful because, and we've constantly been saying it this morning, like just in like through normal conversation, because I do think it's easy to get stuck in that like if and then model or concept where it's like, if I get that thing, then I'll be happy. Like if I get that house, then I'll be happy. If I get that new car, then I'll be happy. If I get that like Hyrox championship, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But it actually like sitting in and enjoying the process, I think, is probably like the best way to be, right?
Yeah. Happiness is the life, the journey. Happiness is not a thing or a place or an object. Happiness is just the routine, the life you create. And I was doing like the last month, I've been in the US traveling around, meeting so many cool people. And I was happy, but I think I'm most happy when I'm at home in my routine training. And it just comes to realize you can have all these things, travel around, have this crazy life, but I think happiness is through the small things. Like I've probably been more happy this morning, having good chats, having a coffee, just like chilled morning, doing the things which are actually free. And that's the happiness bubble, I believe. And it's a cool way to look at it.
Do you reckon that's learnt? Like, have you always been that way, or do you have to learn that?
I've always been a happy guy.
Yeah.
Same as yourself, like always smiling and bubbly. But I think through like a few challenges, hardship, and a few things, you appreciate the happy more, because the journey's been a little bit, it's been hard, right? But I just think as you mature, as you get older, as you go through life a little bit more, you go through things, you're like, I've not found true happiness that way. So you go in a different direction, and then you find a different space of happiness. And I've come to realize that I like my happiness is through the small things, like my friends, my circle. I keep it so small, because the more you give out to people, the more it's taken from you. So it's making sure happiness is found in like the right people around you. Yeah. The things you love doing. For me, training twice a day, ripping in, running, lifting weights is my happiness, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. And eating good food and going for a coffee, like those 4 pillars. Obviously, family's not here. That's like probably the top, but that's a sacrifice I had to make. Those things, that's happiness right there.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, when I get that car or house. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a cool house now, but I'd probably be just as happy if I was just doing my thing.
Yeah. We
somewhere else.
We did a podcast with a research scientist recently. She sits in like the wellness, mental health, nutrition space, and we were talking about like the 5 pillars of well-being, which can fall into happiness. And literally all the things that you just spoke about are in that. It was like connection, physical activity. It was actually sunlight exposure. So like getting the circadian rhythm, so getting the sunlight in the morning and getting it before you go to bed, sunrise, sunset. Diet, so nutrition, eating well, and then sleep. All those 5 things will contribute, and then
they're free as well, right? And I don't do much research around different things. Like, I'm not that guy. I just like doing stuff and figuring it out as you go. I'm not one to sit down. Like, I've never been one to sit down and study, really. Mine's everything I've learned is just through experiences and talking to people, and all of those things I listed were just through like experience and figuring it out. And it's just. It just comes to realize that happiness is found in those.
Mate, I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last year and a half.
Yeah, you've seen the whole journey.
Yeah, it's man, it's really cool to like see you come over from the UK and then really assimilate into the Gold Coast lifestyle, training with you and the boys. Like, the whole reason I came to Atura was when you were training, because like everyone just trained really hard.
Yeah.
And it was a hard training, and I feel like that's what I needed, and I really enjoyed that. Giving us a little bit of background and scope into your transition over from the UK over here, and even a background growing up. What do you think are the key, I guess, experiences that you've gone through in your life that have made you the person you are today, that has brought you over here to Australia? What do you think the key experiences are?
There's life's just been loads of different chapters. I'm in just a certain chapter now that I'm really enjoying. But like, growing up, coming from a similar background to yourself, like the age of 4 until 20, grew up playing team sports. So my brothers and sisters, got two brothers and a sister on my dad's side, so the half. We all grew up playing rugby union, so that was like a big thing growing up. So always part of a team, always part of like a family. And I was always the youngest. I was always kind of like, not the odd one out, but I was an only child to my mum. So I was I'm 7 years younger than my sister. So I've always been kind of in my own little world, doing my own little thing. No one was really at home apart from mum and dad. So I kind of had that journey growing up through school stuff, kind of like a cooler kid, just because if you play sport, if you're good at sport, like you're automatically like in that group, right?
Yeah.
So I was always in amongst that like coolish group. Went to college, studied sport performance there just so I could play rugby at a higher level. So that's sort of a transition, always in sport, and then through rugby found like training, and then just started taking that a bit more seriously. Rugby union stopped playing that around like 2021 is seriously just to play for my local team with my mates again. Started drinking a bit more then, and just enjoyed training, and was just in this weird transition phase. Like, I didn't really know what I wanted. I was in a job, so I used to work in aviation. I'd work kind of 9 till 5, but it's like shift work in the week. On the weekend, I'd rip them with the boys and then train around that. And there was no real direction, but I was happy doing that because I didn't really know what else there was on the other side of it. Like, that was just my happiness. So from there, just training and stuff just transitioned into gym, and then lockdown happened. And then lockdown, obviously we all have our phones now. I was like, why don't I just record myself training? Because I wasn't playing.
That's how it started.
Yeah. So that was sort of like the start of everything. So obviously the catalyst was probably rugby union, having that base, and then being knowing how to train. And then in lockdown, obviously lockdown happened, couldn't play sport. So like, probably got on the best shape of my life. My dad built me a gym in my garage.
So sick, man.
So he's going to obviously park his van and everything in there. And I was like, Dad, I've got to train. So let's convert this into a gym. So I'd rip in twice a day, would do like a mile run around the house. And he put, obviously it's England, the UK, so it's freezing cold. So he put like this plastic panel on the front. I was like, I'd train with a hat and gloves on.
That's so
all
cool.
Through lockdown would like rip in there. And then I just started recording content, just no real idea what to do. I just record some workouts, like the worst content ever. And it's off the back of like a bit of a breakup as well. So it kind of had this real hard thing happen, and then led to me not knowing what to do. So then I started posting content and using my phone. So done that. And then, it just like snowboarded, after obviously posting content for a few years, got a few like little brand deals, and then I was like, oh, you can actually make maybe a living from this. Started doing a bit of online coaching from that. And I was 4 years at the minute into my job in aviation and just fancied a change. So yeah, obviously loads of other things happened, but cutting it short, I then decided to book a one-way ticket out of the UK. So it was 4 years in a job that was great, like great security with money and stuff. I knew what was coming in each month. Obviously, he was making content, was doing a bit of online coaching, and just thought, oh, I wonder what else there is on like the other side of this if I like went all in. But I was always like dabbling my fingers in a few different things and was making a bit of progress, but I was never fully committed on like one single thing because I was still like partying on the weekend. After like lockdown. I was still playing rugby. I was still obviously making a bit of content. I was working in a job that I didn't really enjoy, still living at home at the time as well. And I was like 23. And then, yeah, just a whole life changed. Like life just completely changed after I booked that one-way ticket out of the UK. So I asked my mate if he wanted to come with me. He joined me. So we left the UK, both quit our jobs, went to Thailand for 6 weeks, like drank every day, partied, went to like the full moon party, just done everything. And then from there, I went to Cambodia, went to Vietnam, lived in Bali for a little bit. So that was a whole like 7-month period of travel. I was trying to go down a direction of train and travel. So I was trying to train and travel, mixed in with partying. I thought socials would blow up, but it went down the other way.
Like, why was that? Why do you think that is?
So I think people at the time when I left had probably like 5 to 6K followers. When I left the UK, so that was like 2 years ago. So it took me like 2.5 years to grow like 8K. So I was consistent on this mission on socials at the time. And I thought this is going to be a big thing. And I was going to like boom because it's going to be cool to see. But it just never took off. And I think it's because I was always dabbling in different things still. I was still drinking. I was like making a bit of travel content. I was making a bit of like fitness content. No one really followed me for a certain thing. And then from there was obviously traveled around, partied all the time, got to Bali, started taking training a bit more seriously again because this gyms there are pretty cool. And then had turf games booked in the Gold Coast. And that's kind of where the whole life thing turned around. So from Bali, flew to the Gold Coast for turf games. And I was only meant to be in Australia for around 2 weeks. So I was going to come here for turf games and then figure out what to do after. I was like, oh, maybe I go down to Sydney to live in Bondi where everyone else goes from the UK. And then anyway, met Harry here from Atora. He said there's a gym opening, and then we had friends come out here from back home and they wanted to travel the East Coast. So traveled the East Coast, and then Harry said there's a job going at Atora Burley if I want to coach, because I coached a little bit back home. Coached, obviously to get the job said I coached probably at a higher standard than I did, but like you got to talk the talk sometimes and then you walk the walk when you get there. And then, all that kind of fell into place. And next thing you know, me and Harry are running the gym at Atora Burley. I've found Hyrox in that time, so I started taking Hyrox seriously. And this was just a whole period. So probably at the start of 2024. So from, 2024 was when the gym opened, started living in Australia properly and started taking training like seriously then, and then found Hyrox, and here I am 2025, like 18 months later.
Man,
that was a crazy story, a build up, but that's essentially like my life to now.
Mate, I love
if I didn't take that jump from that like one ticket to leave the UK, if I could tell myself one thing sooner, it would be leave your hometown as soon as you can.
Really? Why? What is it about leaving your hometown so quickly?
I think it's just the mindset of people around you there. No, everyone in your hometown, they're there for a reason because they don't want to leave. They don't want change. They don't want challenge. They're happy with their life they're living in. And that's so fine. They've all got kids. They're all doing their thing. And probably the same happiness I'm feeling right now, but my happiness wasn't in my hometown doing something easy that didn't really satisfy me. So now, obviously booking that, being exposed to new people, new environments, I've just managed to find my place. Like not everyone's place is going to be on the Gold Coast, but for me, being a fitness dude, like being outside, like the beach, like early mornings, it's my place, and this is my happy.
You came to the Goldie and you never left, man.
I'm never leaving.
Well, man, there's so many parts of that story that I've just like, I'm keen to flesh out and I'm keen to look at. The first one that came to mind was like, did you get any pushback when you started doing the content? Like, because we were talking about it before, like being in a footy culture. Like, I don't know. For me, it was always like if you were to do anything outside of the bubble of professional sport or just sport in general, or the footy club, boys would be very quick to pull you back in. It's like, mate, that's
group
cringe.
chats.
What are you doing? Like, boys are spraying now. Did you get any pushback from family, mates about creating content? It's obviously like super normal, maybe because of the circles we knock around in now. But did you get any pushback initially? And if you did, how'd you get through that?
Yeah, love that. That's a great question. Yeah, 100%. I got pushback at the start because it wasn't normal. Like I've had a tripod for probably 4 years now. So getting a tripod out in the gym I used to train at, bear in mind the gym I was at was above the rugby club changing rooms. I used to train at the rugby club. So I'd be up there, have like tripod recording the end of my workout. I'd always train first and then record after. And like the boys would come up to like have physio and I'd be there like recording before a Tuesday training session. And like at the start, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's just not normal to them. And like a few posts that I posted on socials would get chucked into the group chat, just like a bit of stick. But I've never really taken anything personally. I'm not taking that to heart, just because I think I always knew deep down that something's going to come of this. I didn't know when. There was never an end date, but when I first started, I was never going to stop until I got what I needed. Well, not what I needed, but created the life that I wanted. So yeah, definitely got a bit of pushback. People judged a little bit. It wasn't normal. But just never gave up doing it.
I think that's
I forgot about that.
It's you forget about it because it's like you've come so far. Right? Like you look at it now, you're like, well, of course, like you've just got to start. Like I think if you were to do anything that's really impressive or really cool, you just got to make the start.
Yeah, you just got to do the thing
and do the thing. Like I think Chris Williamson was talking about it. He quoted it from someone. It was just like thinking about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Talking about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Like manifesting about doing the thing, shouting to the mirror about doing the thing isn't doing the thing.
Just do it.
Doing the thing is doing the thing. And so you just got to start doing it, right?
And it just takes repetition then. And at the time when I started socials and started making content, I was like, oh my God, I'm so late to the party. Everyone else it's crazy. And then now 4.5 years later, I'm like not like one of the guys that's making like real good content in Australia, and now Lils has started making content, and she thought she'd be late to the party, but now she's inspiring people who are just getting started. So there's never going to be a right time to start this, and I'm so glad I started like all that time ago. But it's crazy how all of that progress, all of that work, for me, it's taken now 4 years to actually turn it into a life and a job and a career. Before that, obviously, I was working in other jobs, coaching, obviously working in aviation as well while still making content. So it's all kind of led to this kind of moment now where I've got a manager on board helping with socials. It's like getting content now, getting my tripod out with my camera, recording things, recording my life is all it's our work now.
Mate, tell me about the time when you booked the one-way ticket. Like, what was it in your head that you thought, I need to get out of here. It has to be a one way. I'm not booking a return. Like, what was that switch? Because you said like you're in a comfortable job, you're in aviation, everything was sweet. Like life was good. Like other people looking in, like, I'm sure that's probably a really great job, a really great life. What was it? Like, why were you like, I need to book that one way. I need to get out. I can see myself doing more.
I think the main reason would just be, well, I had all this money. So you can't just go away with no money. So I had this money that I was going to invest into a house. I was going to buy a house. So look, me, my dad and my mom went to this house to view, needed like renoing, needed a lot of work doing, but I was going to put a deposit down on that and then renovate that and sell it on, and obviously still work in aviation because that was going to fund everything. So that was like my original plan after like split with the missus, lockdown and everything, just kind of managed to save up a bit of money. That fell through, and then I had all this money sitting in the bank. I was like driving around this nice car, and I don't really know. There wasn't like a split moment where I was like, I need to book a one-way ticket. But I had like some family stuff go on. So like in this short period of time, obviously wanted to quit my job, a family passing, like my two nans passed away in like a pretty close time. There's like so much change going on. And maybe without realizing, on the first ever podcast I'd done or spoke on, it was that I think was a catalyst to making a radical decision to then move away. So, and I always wanted to explore as well and go to new places. I think this was like the perfect time, having like an abundance of money that I can just invest in something. I was making a little bit of money on online coaching, so I knew there was something that I could fall back on. So I was like, when my mate was keen to go with me, it was kind of like, I never doubted it. I was like, right, I'm going to leave my job. I went all in from that point. I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to fully experience traveling. And I'd done everything I wanted to do. I would never backpack again. I would never stay in a hostel again.
You've done your time,
I've
bro.
done that. I've done 7 months living in it, like out of a rucksack, living in hostels, and I'm done now. But yeah, I can't remember. There's no real reason to why. Like, I think it would probably be just because to escape a life that didn't satisfy me and to escape some pain that was going on and just for something new. But yeah, obviously booking a one-way ticket without a return is a pretty big deal because my parents didn't know when I'd be home. And when I booked that, I thought I'd be back after 6 months. I just didn't know what country I'd be in or what position I would be in. But it turns out that I found Australia and I actually never went home. I went home, it would have been, like 16 months later.
Do you think everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, definitely. Everything happens for a reason, but it happens because of things you do throughout your life. Like, you don't just, like, it's not lucky that you're here. It's not lucky that you're now creating the biggest podcast in Australia. You got to do the groundwork before. So I think all of these years of obviously like quitting rugby, getting into the gym, training in my garage through lockdown, making content, like all of these bits of grind has just led to this moment. And it's all happened for like, I'm obviously here for a reason, but it comes through past experiences.
Man, it's like, and to be honest, man, like I said before, it's really cool to see the trajectory that you're on.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about in this conversation, why I was so excited to talk about it, is like the belief.
Oh, yeah.
Like your belief that you have when you talk about Hyrox, how you want to be the best, how you want to be, the first Red Bull athlete in the Hyrox space, like all of these things. Even like, I remember like a Tora Chrissy party when we were talking later in the night. I'll never forget it because you were so like, it was infectious. It was just like, I'm going to do this. I know exactly where my path is. You were so focused, or like you're so certain of what you wanted to do. I remember walking away like thinking, like it inspired me to want to like go full time in the podcast and do all that. I'm like, well, you're doing it. I'm like, how do I do that? It was infectious.
Yeah.
Where does that belief come from? And how do you know that that's your path? Like, how did you know, like, where did that, like, how did that come
about? Gets me excited talking about it. I remember that chat and I forgot about that. Yeah. It just comes through, I think it's repetition.
Yeah.
And consistently showing up and doing the work. And through doing the work, I find that's where belief comes into play. And for me, obviously the two biggest things for me this year going into 25 was building the biggest Hyrox community in Australia and becoming the best Hyrox athlete. And they're not always going to go to plan. Like I went to Worlds off the back of Worlds, like that whole experience did not go to plan.
US recently, right?
Yeah, so just recently raced, had the worst race of my life. So trained 11 months for a race and didn't go to plan. And just for me, I'm not going to back down. It just makes me want to come back even fitter and stronger. But for me, becoming the best Hyrox athlete is always, from the start of this year, is just my goal. Like I'm set on that. That's one path. And the path to the side of that is building the biggest Hyrox community in Australia. And then from that, like expand global. And if you do the reps, if you do the work, there's no reason why that can't happen. And there's no one in the space putting the amount of time and effort in that I'm putting into it. And that's like, that just gives me belief. And I'm so confident in my ability, and I know the skill set I have now. I think that comes down to like trial and error of different things, but I know my skill set in like communication and building community and putting in the work in the gym, in having like my training program on point, like all of these things that I know I'm really good at lead to the thing that I'm going to create. And it's just knowing, I just know deep down what I'm capable of, and nothing outside, no noise gets in the way of that. Like I'm so clear, my mind's so fresh on the journey. And it comes down to all like the little habits I put in my life as well. Obviously,
tell me about the habits.
Like this morning, sauna ice, doing that like twice, 3 times a week, just around training, just so you're not overdoing it. Obviously waking up at the same, that's been the biggest thing the last 2 weeks, is waking up bed and waking up at the same time every day. It's just an absolute game changer. Even on like Whoop, I'm in the green. Like had a strain of 20 yesterday, I'm in the green today.
Gnarly, hey.
And it's just eating the right foods, like just the small things, like good connections with good people, like having good chats, making time for yourself. Just my whole life just revolves around being or showing up as the best human possible. And if I can show up in the best way possible, like I'm going to do these things.
It's, I imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, but I imagine it might be so easy to just get dialed into the training and have to be in bed at a certain time and have to do all these things and miss out on the connection part. Because I still see you guys like go to the movies and like obviously like the crew that you're living with here are like awesome. But it's just like,
definitely.
Is it easy to float to not having the connection and not having like, people call it balance or whatever, or just being like super dialed into what you're doing? Like how do you, because it seems like you're doing it really well. You're kind of incorporating the two almost.
I'm trying, but there definitely comes like there's sacrifice involved in all of this. Like on Thursday night, I was meant to go out with Lils for dinner with her friends, but I had to say no. You got to say no sometimes. Like I would have loved to have gone for a meal in the evening, but unfortunately I have to go to bed early and I had work that I needed to get done. For us, it's not, you don't finish at 5 and you're done. Sometimes you got emails you got to get back to, you got content you got to get out to a brand for the next day, which I had to do. So there's huge sacrifice that comes in the space we're in, but because I know where this is going to lead to, that sacrifice is worth it. And if you're around the right people that understand you and what you're trying to do, and have friends, like someone wanted to meet up for a coffee yesterday and do some work together, but I was like, no, I can't, sorry, I've got too much on. So it's just saying no and knowing that the people that you say no to, if they're like your friends and back you, they understand. So it does come at sacrifice, but I don't look for like an instant reward straight away, which would be that nice meal with your friends. It's like, if I could sacrifice this, the reward at the end is going to be even bigger and greater. So sometimes you have to just, pull back a little bit. And like tonight, I'm going to go for a nice meal, and like last weekend, I went to the cinema to watch the F1. It's just having things in place that you can look forward to. So it makes the nose easier.
That was my biggest, I guess, like fear getting into a relationship. Hey, I remember you and Chris were talking about it on one of your podcasts a little while ago about like being in the grind and being in that era of just like setting ourselves up so like later down the track we can look back and we can have the time, right?
And
I was very much in that space, and I was like, to be honest, I didn't want a partner because I was worried that it would take away from what I was doing with the podcast, with my work, with my study, with training, everything. But then I found a partner who was super complimentary, and it was just like, it just worked and it was amazing. And to be honest, it's made me like almost more efficient, because I'm like, all right, well, if I want to get to bed at like 7:30, or if we're going to go out for a coffee or a surf in the morning, like I need to be super productive with these like 12, 13, 14 hours in my day that I'm working. And so it's cool to see you now being all loved up with Lil. And but it's cool seeing that shift from like when you were in that grind, obviously like doing what you were doing, but then now in that space, how have you gone navigating that? Like you mentioned it briefly about having to say no to certain things. Is that just like come down to like a communication thing, do you think?
It's just being honest, I think, and just understanding each other. Like she knows the life I'm in now and she gets it, and she's yeah, she's respectful of like my space and my time and everything, and it just works. Like I was seeing a girl before, and obviously I was the same busy and had a lot going on, still training a lot, but kind of cut that off because it just wasn't really aligning, didn't really work. And but then obviously Lil's come in, and we were just friends at the start. We just obviously done a Hyrox together, and it sort of after that formed like a really good bond and sort of led to where we are today. But she fits into not my life because it's our life, but we're trying to live a similar sort of life, and she understands what I'm trying to create. So it's like a mutual respect thing. And if you're honest, if you're upfront with them, and you tell them like you all set like kind of the boundaries, it just makes it a lot easier then. But she's like super chill. I can't be dealing with someone who's like high stress, you know. Just like take a step back, chill, let's just breathe, and like things aren't that deep, you know. So
love having deep conversations, but it can also just like have fun and take the piss, and nothing like a little.
It's good, and it adds to you, like it adds to my life having her around, rather than like someone who takes away from you. And you know, if it was the case, like you'd be gone. Like our lives are pretty good as they are. You know, if someone comes in and makes that worse, that can't happen,
mate. Talking about Lil, I do have a voice memo question from Lil.
Oh, no way.
Hey, y'all. How do you separate who you are from what you do, especially when your identity feels so tied to performance or achievement?
Say that again.
It's a good question.
Hey, y'all. How do you separate who you are from what you do, especially when your identity feels so tied to performance or achievement?
How do you separate you from who you are to what you do?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a good question, Lil. I like that from her.
I don't know. I think that's hard. I think Ollie is this guy who's always on at the minute. Like wherever I show up, I'm not putting on a show, but I'm going all in to whatever I do. So whether that's performance or meeting going for a coffee with a friend, like if I'm giving time to something, I'm fully invested in that. So obviously for me, like tier one is performance. So when I show up to the gym, when I go on my runs, like when I'm doing that, I'm doing it for a reason. I'm doing that not just to tick a box because I need to train today. I'm doing that because I'm running a sub 3 marathon, or I'm running a sub 60 Hyrox, whenever that is. So it is hard to separate them both. I just try in whatever environment I'm in, wherever I'm at, I try and just show up in the best human possible. And sometimes it's not always going to go to plan, but I feel, I'm always the best human, and try and make everyone around me, obviously not performance, but like with friends and stuff, make them feel a certain way, make them leave me feeling more energized and like have a better day from it.
I love that, bro. I think that's awesome. And to be honest, man, like I honestly believe like if you can help people and like make a living off it, like that's the golden spot. Like
that's the sweet spot.
That's where you want to live. And then looking at what you're doing now, it's just like you're building this amazing community.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be the best Hyrox athlete in Australia and the world, but you're actually helping people along the way.
Yeah.
Which is like, it must be so rewarding, right?
Yeah. And I want to lead by example. I want to set the standard high for myself so people can follow and like look up to be like me. But you can be me. There's no reason why you can't be. Just get inspired and do the work, and that we'll be on the same level, you know. We're all on the same level, same level anyway, but I'm just obviously focusing on that performance, and it just takes time to build up the reps to be good at it. But I was going to say something, but it's completely gone off.
That's
my
okay.
mind.
It'll come back. It always does, brother. It always does. When you think about like building a community, so you want to build like the best community or the biggest community in Australia, and you want to be the best athlete.
Yeah.
What are the practical steps? Like you've got your big goal. How do you work back from that? Like what are the practical steps that you put in place?
It's just showing up for the people, I think,
and
putting in different layers. So like obviously every Sunday we have the Hyrox Sundays at the gym, so
which we're pumping, by the way. It's gnarly.
Wow, like it's eased off a little bit now, but like for Brisbane Hyrox, we was having over 100 people at like 6 and 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Like it's just crazy, and I can't even fathom. Like I didn't even think that was a thing when I was in the UK, and now like probably building the biggest Hyrox community in Australia and the biggest sessions anyway. So it's just starting, obviously we're in a space now, everything's like on your phone, it's all like seeing people and things like through a screen. That in-person connection is, you just can't beat, and that's something that I would never drop off. Like I always want to host workshops or sessions for the people, and so like I can give to them that way. I can give to them through adding value on content, and I can entertain them through like pumping YouTubes, which will be coming out a lot more in September. So like I'm trying to like give people back and have a piece of me. Like I'm not this guy, I'm just a normal dude, right? He just loves ripping in training. That's what I was gonna say earlier. Just about being, I'm nothing special. Like I'm gonna stay humble. If you see me, say hi, I'll shake your hand. We're just dudes, and I'm just a guy training hard. But I want to try and give to you as much as you can and help you out on your journey. So like I said, whether that's through content, YouTube, or hosting like Hyrox sessions like we've got tomorrow at the gym. And then from there, obviously, once everyone's happy that support me and stuff, because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here doing this. I wouldn't be in Australia. And then from there, I can like kind of obviously focus on my time. And when I've got my time, whether it's like 2-hour run or hour gym session, like I'm doing that so I can be a better athlete. I can show up better. And the more I can, the better level I can show up, the more impact it's going to have on the people that aspire or like follow my journey, right? So it's just how you show up to life is everything. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some days that I'm exhausted and I don't want to be around too many people because I know I'm not going to be a good person just because, but when I'm on and we're fucking going.
I love that, man. Do you think we put ceilings on ourselves? Like in terms of what we think we're capable of, do you think like the everyday people like I imagine like there's probably a lot of people like there's no way, like saying to someone, I'm going to be the best Hyrox athlete or I'm going to build the biggest community. Like for a lot of people, I imagine that's like so gnarly to think.
Yeah.
But in reality, like I think we're capable of so much more than what we think.
For sure. Yeah. And if you don't, your brain doesn't know that if you are actually the best Hyrox athlete, or if you're saying it, like you say it and you get that reaction in your brain that you get the dopamine hit. It's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
So the more you say it, the more likely it's probably going to happen. So I 100% know that there's better Hyrox athletes out there than me. Like you're training way more than me. Like I'm trying to become this insane Hyrox athlete, but also build the biggest community. Like it's hard to go all in on both, and I'm giving it my best shot. But the reality is, one's going to fall a little bit more than the other. So it's like I'm at a stage at the minute, like what do I really want to invest go all in at? And we spoke about it on the run this morning. To be an elite Hyrox athlete, the sport's growing so quick and the levels to it is just going through the roof. So I don't have ceilings. Like I'm like, the sky's the limit, right? Just shoot for the stars. Just whatever you do, just go, give it everything, and then you're probably gonna excel more than you think. And for me now, I'm probably gonna be chasing like that personal goal of sub 60 and not looking too far ahead. Get that, and then reevaluate and be like this guy who's insanely fit and competing with like the best. But it's gonna take me a while to become like as good as the guys leading the pack.
It's I love that all-in mentality, to be honest. And even when we spoke after at the Christmas party and after the Christmas party, it just kind of stuck with me. And to be honest, like it's similar timing because I'm just about to take the step into the podcast full-time in 2 weeks. And I know you've recently taken the step into full-time training and doing your own thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's scary though,
The thing is,
right?
anyone can do it. It's there. Like the life we're in now, like the life we're in, that things are kind of given to us. We've never been in a phase of life where there's so much opportunity in different ways. You have to apply yourself in the right way and show up. And like you said, go all in. For the past however long you've been obviously managing study, work, podcasting, you got all these things. They're all kind of growing, but they're not growing at a rate that you need to keep up with the big dogs. And same as me, like still coaching at the gym, having like trying to grow the Hyrox community, trying to do online programs, trying to make content, a lot of things going on. Now I can take one away and pump more into my own stuff.
Was there any nerves or anxiety going into it full time?
Yeah, massive.
What were they?
I think it was just timings. As we spoke, like there's never going to be a right time to do anything. You got so much going on at the minute and you've taken the jump, and I've had so much going on and I took the jump kind of as I was in America doing, obviously had this big trip planned, a month in America, traveling around. Obviously went there for Hyrox Worlds, trained 11 months for a race that didn't go to plan. And then I'm in this country, I'm not coaching. So all of my income's coming through like online and through social media. In this time, I got a social media manager. So all of my 6-month contracts are out the window while I'm negotiating new rates. And then all of my online coaching's transforming from more hybrid to just like focus on Hyrox. So not only did I left my job coaching, my whole social media platform changed with no brand deals at the time. And then also like my coaching changed. So you go through this stage of like security, obviously back home in the UK. And then obviously you run a gym, and then you start doing a bit of social media and coaching, and you have this security again. And then like for me, traveled away, things didn't go to plan, I had a lot of change. And I was like, fuck, have I made the right decision? And like all of these thoughts are very recent, you know, like off the back of WODs while I was traveling around America, because I've moved into a new place, everything's more expensive and it's on me. And it's not until probably the last like week, 2 weeks, where I'm like, holy fuck, I'm so glad I took that risk.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
But this whole time while I was away is probably the most like on edge and kind of skeptical about everything.
Yeah.
And it take you a while. Yeah, it's taken me probably till this week to find my groove again, have a lot more security around financials because things are in place now. Whereas you have this gray area where everything's just going through this transition phase, and I've just gone through like this huge transition phase.
I think that's really cool, man. It's also really relatable to know that like,
and it's not easy.
It's not easy, but also to know that like you don't just make the decision to go all in and then it's all just sunshine and rainbows, and you're like, you never have the thought of like, am I going to be able to do this from a performance point of view, but then also from a financial point of view, because you have to live. And I think that's really relatable, because to be honest, man, like going through the exact same thing.
Yeah,
where
we're
you're
probably
like,
feeling the same emotions at the minute.
It's the same like nerves and anxiety, because you want to do things at a really high standard, especially with like the podcast, because we're having conversations with like really high quality people, like not only really great athletes in their own right, but just like the best people. And you want to respect them in a way of having like really high quality content and like making them feel super comfortable. And so it's like, and then this big project next year where we want to have more global presence. So that's like traveling internationally. Yeah. And that comes at a cost. So if it was just me, it's like, not
free.
I could grind it out. I'm happy to, I could live in my little troop if I wanted to. You know what I mean? But when you start having more crew come on board and you're like, all right, well now you're supporting other people and you want to make it bigger. It's like, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you got to invest, right?
But then looking at you now, where you're like, you're in a really good spot where you've put the things in place, you can look back and you're like, I'm actually pumped that I made the jump. Hey?
Yeah, I'm so pumped. And it takes, the reward takes a while, you know, but when you get there, it just makes it so much more worth it once you've been through all that hardship and stuff. And obviously the journey we've both been on, from like rugby to, to now to running our own like kind of businesses. So you were podcast me of coaching social media. It's just crazy the transition we've been on, and the fact this is our life now is just wild, isn't it?
Mate, very on theme. I do have a question from one of our good mates, Benji.
This is going to be deep.
The roomie. It's good.
My chunky brother. I'm super proud of you and everything you're doing, and it is a privilege to be a small part of the journey and watching it from up close. But a question I'm going to ask, and it is from a question I stole from a good friend of mine's podcast, Chris Williamson, and is, if the audience was watching your life as a movie, what would they be screaming for you to do right now?
He asked me this in the car the other day.
He has some good questions, man.
Oh, crazy. He asked me this and I couldn't like pinpoint one thing that the audience would scream at me, because I feel like the audience would have been screaming a long time ago when I was back in home, be like, just leave, just do the thing that you want to do. But now I think they'd just be screaming, just like keep doing what you're doing, bro. Like, just keep enjoying the journey. And sometimes I take things for granted a little bit. they'd probably be maybe even just chill and just take things in, take life in a little bit more. Like for me, I'm just always, every day I'm like, go, 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 go. Like I don't really stop. Sometimes might be screaming, just take a step back, chill, bro, enjoy the view, and just be proud of yourself, mate. Stop always trying to chase that next thing, because it's, you can always chase, right? I went to took 40 people to Melbourne Hyrox, and then I'm like, okay, I want 80 next, and then you're chasing 80, then it's like, let's chase 100 people. So maybe they'd probably be screaming, just take a step back, chill, enjoy the view, you're fucking killing it.
Are you proud of what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm so proud. I'm proud of myself, for sure. And I feel like it's taken a while to pat myself on the back, but I'm definitely proud. I could have quit multiple times, but the journey that I've lived has been, or the journey that I'm still on, is just incredible, and I'm loving it, bro.
Do you have like these types of conversations with like mum and dad, like back home?
Yeah, not that deep. Yeah, not that deep, but they're super proud of me, and they back me a lot. Like if anything, if times get hard, mum's there for me. If I need a chat, they've supported me from day dot, and that's one thing I'm very not lucky, but fortunate to have, is supporting parents that both working class. Like dad's a sparky, mum's a cleaner now, but used to run a pub back home and had a few jobs, so they've always backed me. And I think they see what I'm doing and the belief that I have in myself. They know that this is gonna be big, and I'm not doing this just to like stay at this level and just keep it easy. Like I want more challenges. I want to keep pushing.
What do you do when like these challenges come up and you're like, fuck, I actually don't know how to navigate around that? Like, what are there certain things, or even like those nerves and anxieties that you were talking about? Like, what is it, the things that you do to overcome them? Is it like conversations with other people? Is it like reflecting on what you've done? Like, is there certain things that you do when you're going through these challenges, or you have these thoughts?
Just lean into it a little bit, I think. Like, you're feeling this for a reason. Like, feel it, let it pass, because everything passes, right? Hard times pass. It's just part of the journey you're on. So for me, if some things don't go right, or I just know that it's for the greater cause. So things aren't going to go right, so you lean into it, just embrace it. And when you believe in something, that setback, is only going to push you forward like twofold. So like the setbacks which I had with like Worlds, and coming off the back of that with no security around life and finances, really, it's just led to me, I knew that this time would come. So just feel it. Like, I was listening to a podcast on the run with Chris Williamson and Simon
Sinek?
Yeah,
man.
And it was just, when you feel it, like, just, if you feel something, just sit with it for a little bit. And when he was saying it, because he was talking about like, if a friend's going through pain and they want support, sometimes the best thing you can do is just sit in the mud with them and just be there with them, because sometimes you can't say the right thing and it's not going to make it better. So just having a bit of company with them when they're in the darkest times, just if you're suffering like mentally, going through a breakup, just be in that breakup with them. And then from there, you can maybe in like a week's time be like, oh, bro, you willing to talk about this now, or should we have a chat? And if they're not, they're not. I think
I love that piece. I've had a few people, but two people in particular, Tilly and a guy called Aaron Booth, on this podcast, talk about the exact same things, where they were sitting with a loved one, one being a best friend, the other one being a partner, in a really tricky time around like suicidal ideations and just really gnarly thoughts, to the point where they actually thought that they were going to come home and they were going to be done. Anyway, the Tilly's clip, because we clipped it up because it was so beautiful the way she articulated it, but the biggest thing was that her partner that she was talking to at the time, Tilly's like, because she's very much like, and she wouldn't mind me saying this, she's very much like, go, how do I fix it? Like, let me fix this for you. I want you to be happy. I don't want you to go through it. But the partner was like, Till, like, I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to be there with me.
Yeah.
And so it's goosebumps. It's
literally, mate, I literally beating my head stood up.
It's literally like, it's being able to sit there with them.
And you've been through the hard times, right? And you've probably had friends that approached things and wanted to fix it, but the ones that wanted to stick there and be in the mud with you, they're the ones that you feel it with them. And when you can feel something with a bro, like there's no better feeling, you know.
And like, don't get me wrong, like we're all gonna go through the shit.
Everyone goes through the shit.
And people, even like people who come on this podcast, they're like, oh, my thing's like not that hard, or I don't have time. It's like, nah, like your heart is your heart, and people will relate to that in different ways. Like, but
the thing is, hard feels the same for everyone. Man. You know, your brain doesn't know whether it's hard or emotion through like a breakup or through a death. It just knows that feeling, right? So we've all had that feeling in our own way, one way or another.
Even from like a scientific point of view, we were talking to that research scientist that I was mentioning earlier, and she was telling us how we all have like a happiness baseline, and regardless of what we're going through, we typically always return back to that baseline. Okay. So that's why, like when say you lose a loved one or you go through a breakup or something that's really gnarly, yes, you're gonna drop from that baseline, and it's gonna be sad and it's gonna be hard, and you think that like, how am I gonna get through this? Yeah. But with time, you will eventually return back to the baseline. It's just like, of course, you're always like we lost one of my we lost a really good friend of ours growing up to suicide when we were like 17, and I recently reconnected with his mum. It was his 10-year reunion earlier this year, and she says like, it doesn't get, it's still sad. Of course it's still sad, but she's able to talk about it. Like she's able, and she wants to help other people. And you can apply that to all the times, like like losing friends, like losing family members. Yeah. With time, it's always going to be sad. I'm not nullifying that. But be able to return back to baseline, it's a time thing, right?
And then like talking about it, helping others out, and then you can get that sense of fulfillment from a bad situation. And that's if you can help others out on their journey, man, it's like you through your conversations, me through obviously the things I'm doing with coaching and stuff. It's just, there's no better feeling than that, giving back. And that's just why we're in it, right? To help people at the end of the day.
Man, I read this book. You know Ray Dalio? He's he founded Bridgewater Investments. He's like Warren Buffett's best mate.
Okay,
he owns one. He founded one of the biggest like investment funds like in the world, I guess. He wrote this book called Principles, which is like investing principles, but it's also life principles. Yeah, obviously is worth an insane amount of money. But he was just like, in his life, he didn't come from a lot of money. He's just like, once you reach a certain level of income to cover your family, to cover your expenses, to cover all the things, like no amount more of money is going to make you any more happier. No. So he put his whole like principle, like his life principle is around like meaningful work and meaningful relationships. Yeah. That's his whole thing. And so when I think about it from me personally, I'm like, well, meaningful work is promoting positive mental health and encouraging conversations in this podcast and walking the walk and doing all the things. But then meaningful relationships is like having conversations with mates, sitting down with guys like yourself. Yeah. And that's where I want to sit. Like, even to be honest, the monetary value, like, yes, I'd like to get to the point where we can have more staff on board and grow it, because that allows more messages to get out there. Yeah. But then looking at you, it's just like your meaningful work and meaningful relationships, like the relationships in your community that you're building, the meaningful work of actually like helping people, helping yourself. Like, it's just beautiful to see. And I think you're kind of living that as well. Yeah. And
you don't realize when you're in the thick of it, how much of an impact you have on people. And in the space you're in, obviously you're growing your podcast, but you also have a bit of like a following yourself with socials, so it's through your background and that. And it's surprising the impact you have and how many people you'll inspire through your journey. And the same, how many people like I'll inspire through like leaving a hometown, going to the other side of the world, to training, to creating your business. People will be like, fuck, I want to do that. And people obviously leaving, like say rugby didn't go to plan and they need another career, and obviously you followed your dreams. People were like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow my dreams. But you take like those few posts, those few podcasts, you don't think of it as that deep or that meaningful sometimes, even though you're posting it with meaning and you want to try and inspire people, sometimes you kind of take it for granted. Well, I think I do sometimes, but then you'll meet someone out who you don't really know. Or when I was at Hyrox in Chicago, people coming up to me and asking for like photos.
Really? That's cool, man.
Things. It's like a cool experience, but it just makes you want to, like, for me, it's like, I just want to give back to you guys even more because you're supporting me, which means I can inspire you and give you value through content in things and entertainment. And then the more that circle goes, the bigger the circle gets. And then you're reaching more people. And that's like the end goal. And then with that, obviously, the people in my close circle and the friends that, like, meaningful connections. But for me, meaningful connections means people that, like, I'd want to have a coffee with. People that, for me, time's like, it is quite limited, right? It's like the most important thing on the planet is time. I don't want to spend time with the wrong people. That's why if I'm going to meet for a coffee or if we're going to catch up, like, I want to do that. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to say yes. And it's making sure those meaningful conversations with the right people and, like, my people, and obviously meaningful work through inspiring people through social media. And
well, it's inspiring because, like, you're in your niche and you're in your purpose, and that stuff is, like, infectious. Because I think naturally we all want to find what we're, like, put on this earth to do. And, like, why are we here? Like, I think a lot of people are, like, trying to find their thing or their purpose. Like, mine, it's like psychology and podcasting, right? Yours is Hyrox and building community, and obviously, like, take your thing or whatever it is. How do you think someone could find that if they're in that time of, like, being a bit lost and you're like, I want to find my thing, like, I just don't know how to? Any thoughts or advice?
So I've spoken to a few people about this. I'm like, what do you enjoy doing the most? Is it dancing? Is it being a chef? It's like, right, then just go all in on that. You know, obviously it's not as easy as that sometimes because financially, like, you got to pay for rent, you've got a family, you got kids. But I don't know if this is being small-minded, but if you really want something, you'll find a way. And that in the society we live in now, anything is possible. You can document everything, and people will buy that, and brands will want to work with you. And I just find, sometimes I just want to, like, shake people and be like, you don't realize what you've got right now. Like, you could use this so well. And I think it's just trying things that you have to go through, like you said, go through the trenches, like go through all that mud, figure stuff out. Some things will stick. So if you keep chucking things against the wall, like, something will stick. Whatever that thing is, just go all in at it and just keep showing up. It might take a month, it might take 4 years, it might take 5 years, but just know that it'll pay off. So just be relentless and just keep doing the thing that you enjoy the most.
I think that the time thing, I think, is beautiful. Like, I think that's a really cool thing to do, especially if your goal, like, your big goal is to be the best Hyrox person, be the best podcast, whatever your thing is like, zooming out a little bit and saying, like, for me, when I first started this podcast, like when I was playing pro footy, like, I didn't like media. Like, I was always the guy that'd be like, nah, get someone else to do it. I don't want to talk to them. Like, I'm just not interested. So it's interesting that we've got almost like a media company.
Now this is your business.
Now this is our business. But when I first started the podcast and I committed to it and I was like, I want to do this. My whole thing is, like, I'm going to be doing this forever. Like, I want to be doing this for the next 10, 20 years, 30 years. I want to be in my 50s, 60s, still putting out an episode a week. And it might.
That's when you know it's the right thing.
That's when you know it's the right thing.
If you can see longevity in something, and, like, when people do stocks and stuff and, like, get those quick wins of money, like, you don't want to be doing that. There's no value in that. You don't want to be doing that for the rest of your life. And a lot of people in the work they're in, they don't want to be doing that for the rest of their life. But if you can turn your passion, so if you're passionate about cooking or podcasting, if you're really passionate about that, turn that into your career. And then from your career, if you can inspire people and motivate people, and that's like the sweet spot right there. So, like, what we're both, like, you with your conversations with, obviously, everything you're doing, you love that's your passion. And now it's like your work, and you can inspire people. And the same space I'm in. I love training. I love making content in building community, and now that's my job.
But I can't see a world where you're, like, not training, or where you're not being physically active, or you're not doing that. Like, I can't imagine a world where I'm not having conversations, because it's something that we both love.
And that's the avatar you've created for yourself now. So, like, Keegan is the podcast guy, you know, he loves deep, meaningful conversations. Ollie is this Hyrox guy who likes building community and trains hard. And I feel like you have, in the space room with social media, you have to separate yourself from other people. Like, why are you different? What are you doing different? What's your avatar? What's your character? Once you've found your character, your avatar, then pursue that and people know. It's like, why is Olivia May so good? Because she's known as this like beach sprinter and she's in crazy shape and makes great content, you know? So if you could have these avatars and not look to be, I want to have a bit of Keegan in me. I want to have a bit of someone else in me. I want, just be unique. Like we're all unique humans. No one's you. Use your traits to your capabilities and use them well. Like I'm not the most academic. I'm not the most, I don't read all these fancy books. I'm just a guy who just loves ripping in, training hard and learning off others. And then that's how I get my knowledge. But yeah, I feel like that's a big one.
Do you think there's any negatives that come with having a character? Like, do you think we can be pigeonholed at all, of being like, you're Ollie, like you just do Hyrox, or like you're Keegan, you're just a podcaster? Like, do you think that there's any negatives that go with that?
There could be. When you say it like that,
I know. When I said it out loud, I was just like, because even when talking
even
about,
when I was saying it probably didn't sound too.
But no, I know where you're coming from, because it comes from a good place, and I agree with you in the sense where it's just like you want to be the best at that thing, and I think if you do really want to be great at something, your attention has to be at that thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you want to be great, you have to go all in on that one thing. But
I also
obviously we're not just good at that. Obviously, there's more to it, but I feel like that's why long form, obviously short form content, that's probably the majority of things you see with long form, which is why I think YouTube's going to be a lot bigger now, and it is growing. It's like the biggest streaming platform in the world, which people forget about. The more you can pump out on there, people can see your life and see you're just like a normal dude, but like they follow you for that one thing. They can learn a bit more about you, because there's deeper things that go on in our lives,
and we've all got layers as well. Like some of my favorite people have like multiple layers, right? Like you look at someone like a Rogan, like a Joe Rogan, who's like, he's obviously a podcast, he's the best podcaster, but he's like mixed martial arts, he commentates, he's a hunter and gatherer, like he's got all these layers, and I was like, that's an interesting person. Like these are interesting conversations to have. So it's like, be great at your thing,
but also be good at others.
But also like, we'll just do what's curious to you as well.
I think it depends how much something means to you. For me, being the best at Hyrox means so much, so I'm going to go all in on that. And if people think of me as just a Hyrox guy, or the guy who just trains a lot, then like I'm fine with that. If that's their perception, and everyone can have a perception, I feel like that's totally allowed. I know who I am. I know I'm not just that guy, and I'm fine with that. So I think that's the way I'll look at it. If I'm perceived that way, fine. I never want to be perceived in like a bad way, because I feel like everything I do is good. I always play by the book. But yeah, I know deep down that I'm not just that guy, so it's fine.
I love that, man. It's so funny. Again, on similar themes, I have a question from our big mate Harry. Kaz.
Right on. Question for you. I really hope it doesn't happen. But if you got injured tomorrow, a 6-month injury, how would you cope mentally? How would you deal with all your brands? How would you deal with your training? And what would your mindset be?
It's a good question, bro.
That's a great question. Your health is everything. So for me, being healthy, being able to train, run like 80K a week, injury-free, go to the gym and another thing, you probably take it for granted, but without that, like I would 100% at the start be lost, lose direction a little bit, I'd definitely be down in the dumps for sure, because for me, training is my way to have my space. It's a way to improve performance. It just gives me purpose. I get excited to do it. And if all those things got taken away from me just because I can't do it, I'd definitely be a bit lost, because I feel like my life revolves around training, and that's a big priority. But I would just have to move the needle a little bit, and obviously for me, do the things that I need to do to come back even fitter and stronger. I'd probably use the same mindset as Worlds, trained 11 months to get a time that I didn't get and kind of flopped a little bit. So come back, do the work again, come back stronger. So I just have to, I'd probably just suck it up, find a way to make content that doesn't revolve training. People love a comeback. People love a journey. So I'd definitely not stop documenting. I'd still document my journey back to whatever I'm doing. So the journey back to sub 60 or something, the journey to another, or the journey to sub 3 Hyrox. And then, yeah, still make content around that. I can still add value to the community through hosting workouts. I can still make educational content and pump the More Fit training page. So it's not the end of the world. Like, I'd definitely be down in the dumps, but I can still make content. I can still document things. And yeah, I would kind of use an injury to my advantage for a little bit and then come back way fitter and way stronger, because I would not let that one setback like kill all the work that I've already done.
Man, I love that, bro.
So that's what I would do.
I've loved this conversation,
mate. It's been so good,
bro. This has been so sick. Thank you, bro. Thanks for the morning.
No,
it's been really cool. Like I said, it's been really cool, like seeing your transition from like the UK over here, even going like full time, and like the conversations today about like belief and going all in and everything. Like, to be honest, man, it has inspired me to jump into the podcast full time. And so, man, just thank you for everything you're doing,
mate.
Man. Much
appreciated.
That was
fucking good.
That was awesome.
So
bro.
good.